subjects, and I'm not sure how they pick them, but this covers the period of July 1, 2007 through March 31, 2010. So obviously it was before the flood and well after the flood that they covered. And in particular, they were looking at internal controls and compliance with the Department of Employment and Economic Development. As you noted, Rushford is mentioned on page 8 or 9, page 8 as a finding, finding number 2. And I won't read through the whole thing, but the gist of it is back on page 9, where just before their recommendation, the recommendation that the legislative auditor gives is that the department should improve its oversight of grant funds to local governments to ensure compliance with state law. You'll also notice that they list the dollar amount of $1.8 million roughly for loans, and there are 5 businesses indicated, but none of them named specifically. And in asking, you know, if we never see a list, pretty much no. This is the issue wasn't the loans that were made. The issue is with deed and their level of compliance. However, people will pick this up and make what they want to out of it. The Star and Tribune being one of those such people, and they were calling today. So we had discussion, and I'm sure we'll have more tomorrow. What I found kind of interesting is on page 9, they did have, they noted the terms directly and adversely affected, which is right out of the law that was passed by the state of Minnesota for our flood relief. And then in the very next sentence where they talk about, and one of the key points that our discussion that we had with them all the time, this is before we got the flood stuff, was does it have to be and or is it or? And then they go and write, when they give their explanation, they say or. So I honestly don't know which word they're now using, but I think they should be using the word and if they use the term direct or adverse, they open themselves up for a lot more scrutiny. So I just make that observation that I found it kind of humorous that they adopted what we were arguing for in the first place in their explanation.
Finding 3 doesn't refer to us?
Not that I'm told.
Good, because I don't understand it.
No. The other part that I think is significant is deed's response on page 15. They, of course, are provided an opportunity to review this for a couple weeks and then issue a letter. And they, you know, I think as nice as they could say, they, you know, they agree with some aspects of what they're accused of, but they believe that Rushford's situation was unique and that they intend to take no additional action on the issue. So in Deed's mind, this is a issue that will be noted and immortalized, written as it is, and that's where it'll end. The bigger question they probably face is today there was a legislator on television that was saying, you know, we should just pick up that Rushford plan and use that because it worked so well. It'll be interesting to see how the legislature truly does respond. And I hope that whatever they give personally for these communities, they talk about the economic survival of the community as well as just paying back.